Bienvenue, bonsoir. Welcome to the Committee of the Whole meeting for October 15th. Declaration of conflict of interest.
There were no conflicts of interest declared.
Thank you. Public and administrative presentations. 2.1 Provincial General Election Candidate.
So before we begin, I'm just going to explain. We'll be giving each candidate 10 minutes to introduce and talk about their platform. No questions will be to or from council. So I'm going to put a timer on my phone. Whenever the 10 minutes is up, you'll hear the ringer and we'll ask you to kindly step down. Order will be done by random draw, which we will do as soon as I'm done here. Donc, chaque candidat aura 10 minutes pour présenter leur plateforme. Aucune question sera posée au ou de les membres du Conseil, puis l'ordre se fera au hasard. And I'll get...
So the first one, René Lagacé. Welcome. There you go.
All right, I'll put my timer on too, so don't get any surprises. Yeah, I won't necessarily go into the provincial platform too much because I think we've heard enough about it on the media and you've had a chance. What I wanted to do more is to discuss maybe some issues or files that have more of a provincial municipal relationship so that after the election, no matter what the results, you can all have some information to keep doing the good work that you're doing right now. So I have a lot of files, but I'll start in order and I'll go as far as I can. The first one I'd like to discuss that kind of goes under the radar right now is the Bathurst Airport. We still have an airport that needs to survive and keep growing. Recently, we've had a new flight added with Pascan, but that part of the deal was that RDC was going to give some funding for advertising. And if anybody's noticed, we haven't seen a lot of advertising, and we haven't announced any of that funding either. So I'm kind of concerned about what's going on there, and I'm hoping that the flight numbers are going to be high enough. Otherwise, if nobody knows about what's going on and where the flights are happening, we're not going to get much numbers. So I am using this public forum to let people know that the flights are available to St. John and Halifax, and they are actually quite reasonably priced, especially if you're a corporate flyer. When you look at getting reimbursed for your kilometers, when you look at the price of the flights to Halifax or St. John, it is actually quite reasonable. So maybe if I have a look at it and give the flight a shot, because the airport certainly needs the help. The beauty of the airport, though, as a file, is it's been doing very well for many years, and it doesn't take much for us to be feasible. Really, right now, Air Canada flies every second day. If they flew every day, we wouldn't be talking about the airport. We would just be growing. Anything past that first flight a day is just growth. It's for our future. So it's an easy fix. We just need to support it. We need to put attention to it. The second file, and I think you guys are, council is well aware, is around housing. I know that Bathurst has put a lot of emphasis on housing and put a lot of work into it. One of the platform issues that we have brought up is taking the 10% HST, or the provincial portion of the HST, off of new builds. That is important for Bathurst because, as you all know, building an apartment complex costs the same as it does in Moncton to build in Bathurst. It's the same cost of 2x4s, same cost of nails, same cost of everything. The problem is those bigger cities can actually charge more rent. So when you're going to CMHC and you're getting approval, the higher revenue gives you a better opportunity to get those projects approved. So any little bit that we can give to support those projects, like HST, 10% is a lot. And it has more impact in smaller communities like Bathurst or rural communities than it does in St. John, Moncton, or Fredericton because of that rent issue. I know there's some programs that are available for affordable housing. They've been around for a long time. It used to be around 50,000, now it's 77. But the problem is it's not just affordable housing, it's all housing. We're getting young people, young professionals coming into this town now. They want a place to stay, they want a place to live, and there's nothing available. So they're starting to take the affordable housing away because that's all they can find. And that just puts downward pressure on everything else. So those programs are very important. The HST, it was actually a federal program. Most of the provinces accepted to take their portion off. We didn't, and now we're falling behind Nova Scotia and PEI. And we're not that far, because I've had major developers that have said they've stalled their projects in the province to concentrate on Halifax because they get 10% more there. So we need to be competitive. Almost halfway through. Another file that we're all familiar with is the mill site. We've done a lot of work together in the last few years, and again, after this is all done, it's important to have some information. We, over the last few years, have been asking for funding to clean the mill site up, and we were often told that we couldn't get any funding unless there was a project attached to it. There was no programs available. Your manager, your solicitor, your economic development officer went often to RDC looking for programs, looking for something to, and it was always attached to a project. Recently, what happened at Cabinet on June 6th is they found funding for specifically, let me just grab my notes here, under the Total Development Fund. This is a fund that existed before, and essentially it was $2 million that was set aside by Cabinet for the cost to secure the site and to do the preliminary remediation. So since it's preliminary remediation, there's going to be more remediation required. And I looked under the Total Development Fund. There's 4 objectives that have to be attained, or one of them have to be attained to get money under this fund, and it was never available before until June 6th of this year. And the 4 have to be either you're going to get increased efficiency or productivity on a project, mostly business. It has to be strategic infrastructure under a certain sector of industry. It has to be R&D, or it has to be a strategic sector initiative. And I think that's the one that was used for the funding. So it is to support government priorities. So if a minister has a priority, it can go under there. That information is important because for many years we thought there was no programs available. And the good news is now we know that the Bathurst mill site qualifies under this fund. So we just have to remember that fund exists, and that's where we're going to get the rest of the funding from. So I wanted to bring that up at council because at one point, if things slow down or if they stall, we know exactly where it is, because as your staff know, for many years we were kind of being given the runaround as to where the funding had come from, and there was nothing available. The last time we had a discussion with RDC was back before Christmas, and it was you had to have a housing project or you couldn't get any cleanup money. So that's changed. So that's good. It's now public. We're moving forward, and I certainly like it. The other project that I would mention that is important to this area is the construction of the hospital. The construction of the hospital is well behind. It is 4 years behind, and I know what I've heard for reasoning has been COVID. I can tell you the project was behind before COVID. We had some visits at some doors, and we had some just frustrating stories around that project on the construction, and it's not about resources or money or availability of either. It is really about attention to getting it managed. It's just it's a matter of wanting to get it finished. When I hear that a gentleman was sitting on a chair for 2 weeks to paint some rooms, waiting for his paint, getting paid, somebody is not. We need boots on the ground. Somebody is not taking care of their business. And there's too many examples of that going on right now. Has nothing to do with lack of resources, just has to do with priority and getting that project moving forward. And the hospital, as far as being the center of services in northern New Brunswick, the hospital is a key player for this area. And we need to get it done because our staff are getting tired, our patients are getting tired. It is hard to be told every 6 months that you're going to move. Always pushing the dates. When it's happened 6, 7, 8, 9 times, it is hard for staff to hear that and need to believe again that this project is going to be done, and it's going to be done soon. And all we need is to have some focus and get on it. Take somebody from Fredericton, bring them up here, and get the project managed and moving forward again, because we haven't even started the old fees. So with that, I've got a minute left. I just wanted to thank you again for the, it's been 4 years for me. I wanted to thank all the councillors that I've had a chance to work with, the staff. It's been a pleasure. I think we've always worked well together. We were able to move some files forward, and this city is ready to prosper and move forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time, René. So we'll go to the second one. Luc Robichaud. Bienvenue.
Alors, bonsoir. Alors, Monsieur le maire député, merci beaucoup. Les membres du Conseil, merci beaucoup pour l'invitation, au staff. Ça me fait un grand plaisir d'être ici ce soir. C'est la première fois que j'ai la chance de rencontrer beaucoup d'entre vous autres, puis c'est la première fois que j'ai la chance de venir à l'édifice municipal City Hall of Bathurst, fait que je suis vraiment content d'être ici ce soir. Fait que je vais prendre quelques minutes pour m'introduire, parce que je suis nouveau, c'est la première fois que je me présente comme député des Hautes-Terres-Népisiguit. Mon nom est Luc Robichaud, je suis originaire de Paquetteville, j'ai grandi à Paquetteville. J'ai 2 enfants, 13 ans, mon garçon a 13 ans, ma fille a 16 ans. Puis j'ai eu la chance d'être maire de Paquetteville pour 7 ans. Au niveau de ma carrière personnelle, I went to study here in Bathurst in 2001. So a lot of people thinking I'm 20 years old. So it was 2001, so I can calculate I'm 43. So I had a good time in the region. Le riding de Hautes-Terres-Népisiguit. Paquetteville, auparavant, on faisait partie de Caracat. Donc, au niveau du redessinage des circonscriptions, Paquetteville est maintenant, vu la réforme municipale, fait partie de Hautes-Terres et aussi de la nouvelle circonscription. Donc, on a 3 communautés d'intérêt dans cette circonscription Hautes-Terres-Népisiguit. On a la communauté d'intérêt des Hautes-Terres. Depuis la réforme, on forme une nouvelle municipalité avec Paquetteville, Saint-Isidore et tous les DSL autour. On parle de 6200 de population quand même, très rurale. On a aussi la communauté district de service rural, Chaleur, qui est principalement à Lorville, Polkshaw, Salmon Beach, New Bandon. Et aussi, on a la communauté ouest de la circonscription qui est de Bathurst-Est, que j'apprends à découvrir lorsque je fais du porte-à-porte. J'ai eu la chance d'aller dans la région de Big River, qui fait partie du riding. C'est un petit peu mêlant pour tout le monde, là. Mais Big River jusqu'à la réserve Papineau, c'est partie de cette circonscription ici. Blue Mountain aussi, et aussi Roughwater, comme vous savez, Chamberlain, Sentleman aussi. Ça fait que c'est certain que René connaît beaucoup plus les enjeux locaux. J'aurai en temps et lieu, suite aux résultats des élections, rencontré les conseils municipaux, que ce soit de Haute-Terre ou de la ville de Bathurst, et voir les priorités. J'ai été dans votre position pendant 7 ans. Je comprends au niveau la suite de la réforme. J'étais pour ceux qui croyaient en la réforme municipale. J'étais pour ceux qui pensaient qu'on devait avoir une réforme. La partie qui était un peu plus décevante, c'est le côté fiscal. Donc, de mon côté, je serais un allié pour les municipalités du côté fiscal de la réforme. Je trouve qu'on doit repenser, puis on doit peut-être en faire un peu plus à ce niveau-là. Ceci dit, je vais parler un petit peu de notre plateforme. Elle est quand même assez complexe, assez d'informations. Vu que, comme je disais tantôt, j'ai beaucoup à travailler sur les dossiers locaux, mais la plateforme est divisée en 5 parties. So, we have 5 major priorities in the platform. So, first of all, of course, we have healthcare. We have affordability and housing. We have education, economic development, and also environnement. C'est certain qu'on entend beaucoup présentement provincial, l'enjeu numéro 1, c'est les soins de la santé. Alors, vous ne se cachera pas que c'est quand même un enjeu important. Lorsque j'ai fait quand même, j'arrive à près de 1000 portes de fête dans la circonscription, puis il y a beaucoup d'enjeux au niveau des soins de santé. Ça demeure quand même la priorité numéro 1 que j'entends aux portes des gens de la circonscription. Beaucoup d'entre eux autres n'ont pas de médecin de famille. Puis on a aussi beaucoup d'entre eux autres. Présentement, on parle à peu près de... Aussi, nos hôpitaux sont quand même assez pleins. On parle de la région Chaleur ici, qui est un hôpital important pour la circonscription. Nous, à Haute-Terre, à Paquetteville, on fait affaire autant à l'hôpital de Bathurst qu'à l'hôpital de Caracat ou Tracadie. Fait que c'est certain que nous, c'est un hôpital régional, c'est un hôpital important pour la circonscription. On parle présentement que les aînés se sentent oubliés. Seniors are feeling forgotten while over 1,100 people wait for a long-term care bed. 535 seniors are waiting in an hospital right now. Nous investissons dans les soins domicile et dans les soins de longue durée en transférant les personnes qui attendent des hôpitaux vers un milieu plus approprié. Cela permettra aux hôpitaux de disposer de l'espace et de la capacité nécessaire pour traiter les urgences et réduire les temps d'attente pour les chirurgies. On parle aussi des soins de santé pour tous, healthcare for all. Access to primary healthcare is a challenge across the province, and that is especially true for historically underserved groups. Everyone deserves access to healthcare they needed. Une partie qui est importante, qu'on en mentionne peut-être pas assez souvent, c'est la santé mentale, mental health. Seulement 30% des Néo-Brunswickois et Néo-Brunswickoises qui ont un médecin de famille peuvent obtenir rendez-vous au moins dans les 5 jours. Donc, 30% seulement. Nous réduirons le temps d'attente pour les services de santé mentale afin qu'ils se situent en dessous de la moyenne nationale. We'll reduce wait time for mental health service below the national average. Aussi, un enjeu important dans la campagne que je comprends beaucoup, dans la circonscription qui est rurale, c'est le coût de la vie et les logements. Subvenir aux besoins essentiels. Le Nouveau-Brunswick affiche des taux d'inflation les plus élevés au Canada actuellement. Ça fait que je pense que tantôt, on a mentionné, on voudrait supprimer immédiatement la taxe de vente provinciale, le TVP, des factures résidentielles d'électricité, de sorte à offrir une réduction mensuelle de 10 %. C'est des incitatifs qu'on va placer en place, c'est des priorités. Aussi, immediately remove the X gas tax, saving you around 4 cents liter at the pump. Un foyer pour chacun. Les loyers ont augmenté de 38 % en 6 ans, tandis qu'un nombre record de personnes se trouvent sans abri. Expliqué aussi présentement, comme maire de la région et directeur général de la coopérative dans les derniers 4 ans, j'ai remarqué dans Paquetteville qu'on a depuis 2 ans qu'on a des itinérants. C'est quelque chose qu'on n'avait jamais vu auparavant. Je comprends, la santé mentale est importante, mais aussi le coût des loyers a monté en flèche et ça démontre aussi un besoin grandissant de s'attaquer à cette situation-là. Et j'imagine que Bathurst ont aussi leur lot de défis à ce niveau-là. Fait qu'on va mettre immédiatement en place un plafond de l'augmentation des loyers dans le cadre d'une modernisation complète de la loi sur la location de locaux d'habitation. Work directly with the municipalities and community groups already grounded in housing first approach and support the expansion. L'éducation est aussi une priorité pour le parti, on ne se le cachera pas. Présentement, 52% des teachers who graduate in New Brunswick don't remain in the profession. On a déjà de la misère à en former, mais il y a 52% des gens qui ne restent pas, des enseignants qui restent dans le système. Aussi, nourrir les enfants pour nourrir leur esprit. On va mettre en place, parce qu'il y a un élève sur 4 qui va à l'école le matin avec le ventre vide. On s'entend qu'ils ne sont pas dans les situations pour bien apprendre. If we students to thrive, they need to be fed and feel safe. Provide nutrition. What our priorities can provide nutritious, universal free breakfast and pay what you can lunch of all New Brunswick students, leveraging local New Brunswick food where possible. Aussi, je vais sûrement manquer de temps, là, ça fait que c'est certain qu'il y a aussi les côtés des garderies qui est important aussi. Il y a plusieurs points, là. Mais il y a plus de 4000 enfants qui sont sur une liste d'attente pour les places en garderie. Le gouvernement Old s'engage à éliminer la liste d'attente des 4000 enfants pour des services de garde abordables. Alors, on poursuit la mise en œuvre des garderies à 10 $ par jour à travers la province en les rendant plus accessibles. Les responsabilités fiscales. Un gouvernement autre s'engage à équilibrer le budget lors de chaque année de notre mandat. Aussi, collaborer avec les municipalités afin de mettre en place une réforme fiscale municipale globale et équilibrée, comme je parlais tantôt. Répondre aux besoins de la main-d'œuvre. On sait qu'on a des lacunes au niveau de la main-d'œuvre. Ça va être vraiment à travailler. Fait qu'il y a plusieurs points de la réforme. Je vous invite à aller sur le site Web, à aller tout en détail. Fait que ça m'a fait plaisir de vous adresser la parole aujourd'hui. Merci beaucoup de m'avoir accueilli. Ça fait que je vous souhaite une bonne fin de réunion. Je suis certain que vous avez beaucoup d'autres dossiers à traiter ce soir. Ça fait que merci beaucoup, puis au plaisir de vous revoir. Merci.
Go ahead, Kim.
Thank you. I'll put my timer. It's so funny to be standing here and not there. So I'll apologize. My voice is still not back, and it'll be like that for a while, I have a feeling. So thank you for inviting us here this evening. It's great that we all have an opportunity to come and speak. You know, there is quite a few important files that for the region that we've been talking about. And this is no different for me as sitting as mayor and sitting here as a candidate. You know, we certainly want the new campus for CCNB. I know that the provincial government gave $3.5 million to do an assessment, evaluation, development. We really want to move forward to have a new campus. The campus that we have is inadequate. And if we want to continue post-secondary training here, we need a new campus. That being said, while I've been going door to door, I have a lot of people saying that we need English post-secondary classes here in our region. And how are we going to make that happen? At this point, I'm not too sure, but what I can tell you is I think that maybe we can partner up with Alton College and BCC, try to see if there's a possibility for us to have English post-secondary classes here in Bathurst without our youth having to go somewhere else. Affordable housing. We all know that affordable housing is a big factor. You know, the population has increased by over 80,000 since the pandemic. So there is a shortage of housing right now. So housing and affordable housing altogether. The Bathurst did a study. We know it's 165 units for the next 3 years. It's great to see that the city of Bathurst has been proactive with their incentive program, and then to see what there is at the provincial level as well. So, of course, if elected, I will continue to want to work with municipality and with the provincial government to continue on those affordable housing and entice developers to want to develop with us. The Smurfit Stone cleanup, we've been talking about that one, you know, back in March, on March 13th, or even 2 years ago when we decided to pay $170,000 to Roy Consultant to do environmental assessment. The city was putting a game plan together to put a solid presentation to the provincial government to give them a solid reason why we should be tearing down the mill site for future development. And I'm very happy to see that at least we've started. You know, the tear down is happening. Of course, there's many other phases that need to move forward, and there's a lot more work that needs to get done. But we're heading in the right direction, and it's going to be important for us as provincial and as municipal to work in collaboration to make sure that we continue with the vision of the mill and the presentation that was given to the provincial government at the time, and how we can develop on that land afterwards. So there's definitely quite a few steps that needs to move forward. Expanding our infrastructure. We have an aging infrastructure across all of New Brunswick, but in Bathurst, we say $130 million in aging infrastructure. We need to have a bigger budget for infrastructure at the provincial level, and I will certainly fight for that one. And we need to continue on development. You know, I was asked when we did the debate about, you know, with the mine closing and the mill closing, what's happening. I mean, our city is very resilient. We've surpassed that. We have more small, medium businesses in the area now than we ever did before. And I think that we need to continue working at that. If we look at the city, you know, we have an economic development director who's fantastic at his job. I think the city approved to add another employee with him. We have the Regional Service Commission that works there as well with opportunities in New Brunswick. We need to continue investing and trying to entice developers to come and do business with us. And I will certainly commit to that one as well and continue working in collaboration. The airport. The airport is a very important file. And as Mr. Legacy said, we have been working on that. Municipalities in the northern part has given money to the Bathurst Airport. The Regional Service Commission has worked in collaboration. We now have PASCAN that is flying out 5 days a week. Bathurst, St. John, Halifax. And it's true, the costs are quite affordable. And we also have Air Canada. If we do not use the service, and if we choose to travel to Moncton to save a couple of $100, then how are we going to fight to keep our airport operational? We need the citizens to use local. We say shop local. Please use our local airport. It's vital to our region, and if we want this to continue, we need to be supporting our Bathurst Airport. When we go to the hospital, I know that being mayor, we sat with some of the committees with Vitalité about how many beds are taken over by the elderlies, and they have no place to go. We don't have enough level 3 and 4. So the provincial government actually announced, and a few of us were there when they announced it at Casey Irving, there's going to be a new 60-bed that's being developed next to Vallée Lourdes for level 3 and level 4, and they're predicting by September 2026. So let's hope that just those 60 beds are going to make a big impact. It's going to be very important because our hospital, surgeries and whatnot, having 5 beds available for surgery is not acceptable. So we definitely need those 60 beds to come into play for a level 3 and level 4. In my door-to-door, I've been talking to a lot of elderlies and the younger generation as well. And they are saying that there's not enough for the elderlies to be able to do. We've talked about public transportation. Hopefully we can still move forward with that one. It would give them a bit of independence, especially in the nursing homes level 1 and 2. Many of them can actually take that bus to go visit family or go shopping on their own. They're not necessarily at a level where they cannot leave. They're a bit more independent. So having that public transportation is really, really important. And they would love to have a facility where they can actually have a gathering together. And I mean, we've had committees at the city, but I think we can continue working on that. And, they're saying about having more for our youth. I think our downtown core has been quite popular, especially with the younger generation. I know when I volunteered this summer, I know there was a lot of summer students back home, but I couldn't believe the amount of youth that we had in our region. So hopefully we can bring them back here. So other than that, I just want to wish everybody a great campaign, good luck, and October 21st, everybody vote. It's important to vote. Take the time, take your right, no matter who you vote for, but please go vote. Merci, bonne journée.
Thank you, Kim. I'd like to take this time to thank all the candidates that came over and made a presentation for City Council, so our viewers on Facebook can see what to expect from our candidates. So thank you very much again. That's it. Good evening.